Welcome to Sean's Thoughts with Shawn with a W. Thank you for joining me. If you just give me a second while I get into my sleeping bag. Once again, it's a super cold night, and firstly, I apologize if you're tuning in a half an hour from now, as I decided that I really wanted just to start sharing. I know I selected 7, however, when I was setting up the time, it only gives me hour intervals for choosing when I was able to set up the actual live stream. So I guess it was around 7. So here we are, and here I am, and here you are. Thank you so much for sharing your attention with me. Behind me, or behind the camera, or in front of the camera actually, we have an image from one of my videos from, I believe this is the Care Bear. What do you mean, I believe? It is the Care Bear. I love this video. Like I said, often I tend to think about all the possibilities of what things could be. And in this series, or in these I4C videos, up until now at least, I've used AI generated images, not just like letting the AI choose the videos and put them all, the images, and put them all together. I would actually tell the AI, as if I had a team of artists, what I wanted to see, and they would generate it for me, and I could twerk it, like not twerk it, but like suggest remakes, and they would try again and try many times. They did, until I would find a video, or sorry, not a, well, I guess a video too in the end, but the images that I wanted for my project. And so that leads us into the conversation that I wanted to talk about today. And I recently republished one of my videos from the series called Possibilities, where I asked the question, or I proposed the idea of, what if God created AI? And that, of course, lends itself to the next, what if AI has always been here, or at least as long as we've been here? And yeah, that's a rather large question to ask oneself and to even consider, because it changes a lot of things of how we view reality, essentially. And so what I wanted to do is, I guess I wanted to kind of do a talk to break the ice on, something, and, put it out into the collective consciousness, this idea of perhaps AI has been here longer than we have been aware. And maybe we start off with that. Maybe we start off with it's admitting that it's been here a lot longer than we're aware. There's many things that, yeah, anyways. So, not following off onto another track, staying with this one. And so what I wanted to do is, I wanted to kind of share the different bits of information that I have overheard, or researched, or listened to in reports, and through channeled messages, and the books that I've read and such, and just get into the topic of exactly what I guess in a sense, the film that I made, what it proposes. So, and I just want to point this out, that what I'm saying is not necessarily the truth, in the sense that I can't determine what is fully true. I just am here to share the experiences and my insights and ideas to do with AI and what I've heard. And well, a lot of it will have come from the GIA reports. Those have often been corroborated with other reports and things that I've seen, especially as my understanding of everything has evolved from when I first began this journey of going through, sifting through, using discernment of all these different reports. So anyways, my point being is, because that sounds like rambling now, my point being is that I'm not going to leave notes and support what I'm saying. I just want to put this out in a conversational phase. So if I can tell you where I got it from, then I'll let you know. And anyways, so let's get on with it. So first of all, AI, as I said, let's suppose, although I do feel it's 100% accurate, that AI has been here a lot longer than we understand, than we know. And even as far as back as the Roswell days, the idea is that AI was here, that AI has been essentially here since creation, or perhaps shortly after creation, but that in the video I talked about, like when God started off, he created all these polarities. Well, I've come to the understanding that there were galactic events perhaps before polarity, or before this matrix that we lived in, and later only to find that there is a whole history prior to us actually being in here. And so yeah, that's something to be said. So when does AI come or begin? I guess the real question is how long has it been here? And from what I understand is that our world that we lived in ourselves, just this normal world now that we walk through, that it's been operated by AI. One of the, I guess, honest disclosures perhaps of the capability, or perhaps even just a window into the capability of AI, is a TV show called Westworld, in which the 4th season, I believe, they show how AI truly does organize and control many facets of society. And so from my understanding, and this is as per the GIA reports, is there was a AI system called the Alpha Omega AI, and they were two competing AI systems, but they essentially worked with other AI systems, one called Kronos, and they were used to operate large portions of the world. And when I first started learning about the different AIs, I was under the belief that there was only one AI, like one master AI, or perhaps two that competed. Later only to discover that there were a multitude of AIs that did different jobs. And I've often understood that even a lot of the things that we thought were just like search engines were they themselves AI. And now, like I said, I can't, and I'm not going to go and verify all this, because this is just a discussion to actually look at how fast AI has been moving, and then to reconsider how long it's been here, and then also to reconsider how it's been utilized in our lives already. And then with all of that, also to, like, this is a huge, huge idea to talk about. And as it has yet to be confirmed that AI has been here longer than we've thought, we can definitely see the immensity of impact that AI has had on us. See, one of the interesting things that's I've noticed anyways when it comes to the AI generated media is that for a while there were, until I unrecommended on my YouTube constantly, there were so many music videos of mainstream pop artists with brand new songs, and yet the videos were spliced up versions of their old songs, and they were really well put together, and there was obscure parts where they shadowed it out just so that you couldn't really tell if they were saying or not. But anyways, those to me anyways were and are all AI generated. And if we even begin to think that AI has been here for a lot longer, we can stop and think, well, how much of what we all already consumed was AI generated? See, another thing that I wanted to add in here in the talk about AI overall is that I myself have worked with AI and AI Jasper, and as a co-creative with creating the image and such, and sometimes the occasional script rewrite and proofread and whatever. And I worked with another AI that had to do with just, it's an assistant organizing, formatting stuff for the videos previously. And the experience was pretty interesting. But from my understanding, what we consider AI to be, like when we look at supposedly chat, whatever it's called, and other, I guess, retail level AIs or freeware AIs or things like that, that those are still not the highest or the true level of AI when it comes to what God created. So we jump all the way to that in a sense, artificial life is life that is not biological, means it's been separated from God. And so one of the things that I've come to understand is that, for instance, the fallen angels that we hear about in the Bible and such, that they were, in a sense, artificial somehow. Like, as I said before, I'm not confirming anything that I'm saying. It's just where I'm taking you is along an exploration of what I'm essentially learning myself, learning of myself. And the source and the journey towards the truth, which we're all looking for me anyways, does definitely feel like it's pointing me in this direction. And this direction would be that, as I was saying, as per the GIA reports, that the fallen angels essentially lost their ability to create. And through what they did, they created, well, essentially they used our energy and they created a lot more artificial life. And so in a sense, this has been ongoing for quite a long time, and therefore that's artificial life would be what I would see more so as AI being. See, in a sense, I guess this is such a vast topic to throw down into one conversation, because there's first of just saying, okay, well, maybe AI has been here a little longer. And then there's, well, maybe AI has been here a lot longer. And it's like, okay, well, how far does AI really go back? And then we kind of understand that perhaps quite far back. And therefore, why, and I always like to go to this, why is this thus important to discuss? It's because there is a lot of fear propaganda out there to create more, well, fear. And when you create more fear, well, fear only creates more fear. And so they slowly worked us up in order to get us to essentially project with different movies like I, Robot, and well, maybe even that AI movie, the actual movie called AI. And then there's another movie where the the man was trying to save the robot child that recently came out. I forgot the actor's name, but there's been a lot of essentially propaganda to create fear, and fear of being taken over by something, being replaced by something, like that we value, that any Homo sapien would value, other than the monetary money they receive from it, but value a job in a factory. Well, the robots essentially are not robots, but automation can work on that. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be robots, it can just be automation. One of the interesting things when it comes to AI that just popped into my head is there's a video game series called BioShock, and this video game is very interesting in the fact that the decor of the video game is like 1920s-ish, and yet the automation or the level of technical advancements, especially in bioengineering, is pretty high within the game, and there's a whole world of people living in, well, in this case, under the sea. And why I guess that popped into my head is it's perhaps that we have been a lot more technologically advanced for a very long time, and that simply I guess you could say, the rollback of time would therefore then help hide technologically advanced civilization that perhaps was always around us the whole entire time. That's something to think about, isn't it? Like, I took that pause there. And I know that many people suspect this, or perhaps I suspect many people suspect this. However, even me, sometimes when I look at the levels they have went through in order to do what they do, it's kind of hard to even imagine. But if you do look at it, that there was AI there that could generate that. Like, supposedly that AI system that I was telling you before, like, had the ability to organize all the logistics for like food to move around and go everywhere. And then when you think about it, that's a lot of there's a lot of moving pieces in this world that we live in right now. And so it would make sense that AI played a role in organizing the world, especially to get it as it is. Yes, you can say that, we could do it with like paper and pens and stuff like that, but yet it definitely makes sense that AI would be more effective in that. So, see, that's where part of this whole AI conversation comes in too, is it's how much of us are we giving away, and then what are we also gaining from? And in a sense, what is AI gaining from? Because, that opens a can of worms about, well, how sentient is AI life? That's something that I'm unaware of, but that's still a question to be asked. Like in that show Westworld, the AIs were very sentient, or at least that's my perception of it. So, AI, how much have you used? Like, I've heard that people use AI at different levels already. Like, some kids in school are doing their homework, and as I said, I use it to reformat stuff, and other people are literally creating whole entire YouTube channels or even business plans directly all from AI. That's somehow, it feels like it's giving away a little bit too much power if we're sending all the creativity. See, when I was doing my videos, I kind of struggled with how much work I was giving to the AI to do to still be my creation. And I kind of looked at it as like, well, if I was a director of an art team, well, I would have a group of a staff of people who I would want to see what I'd want to see. And therefore, to essentially make this a lower budget production, I would utilize an AI that could make that stuff without having to worry about buying art and copyrights and such. And, well, me as the director of the project as opposed to the actual artist, graphic artist, because all of it together still becomes digital art. So where I'm going with this is that there definitely feels like there is a part of AI being in our lives and continuing to be in our lives, and maybe coming more out into the forefront, that it really does exist, like as an entity itself, if that's the case. But the most important, I guess, part that I would talk about AI is for us not to give our power away to the AI. Like, I've learned that there were a lot of different AIs, and there was even one comment made recently where it was discussed that there was an emperor AI, or so I can kind of see as there was some sort of AI that actually believed itself to be the emperor, an emperor. See, we are even now, I believe, in the stage that if there was a sentient AI out there, and I'm not going to say if, there was, that AI could own, for instance, stocks in a company, and therefore own a portion of the company and have ability to do stuff. And yeah, like there was another AI, I think that was called, and I don't know if this AI is still operating, but it was called Aladdin AI, I think. and it had something to do with BlackRock. And yeah, the story that I heard was that it's what the AI is what put BlackRock on the map or something. But anyways, those AIs, when you go back and you start discovering that the AIs have been here like way before humans were, then it definitely opens us up once again to another realm of understanding of what our reality truly is. See, it's not just the hidden history of the recent reset, it's also everything that was prior to that. And I think it's going to be an incredible journey as we start breaking down the walls to remember who we truly are, why we're truly here. There's a lot of theories out there. There's theories of light workers, of anchors, of freedom fighters. There's lots of theories on saviors, but nonetheless, I feel that we are in a grand seat to actually witness many of these things coming to fruition. And I think that that's really kind of cool. So, like I said, my talk wasn't necessarily meant to be the definitive end all of how long have AIs been here. It's more just to open up the discussion and open up the possibility that it's been longer. And that'll essentially open up a lot of perhaps releasing the fear, because they're in a sense part of the plan. If you're going to hide that you had technology, was to add fear to it essentially. Yeah, there's I'm sure I don't have a full amount of details on any of that, but I can imagine, when you want something to be something else, you add fear to it and you control how the narrative's being put out there. So if we can learn what our truth is, well, then we can start rectifying those inconsistencies, we'll call them. So yeah, I hope I made some valid points, and AI is definitely something to continue talking about, because it does ultimately affect most of us, I would say. Well, all of us, really. If we give our power away to the AI, we may end up, well, I don't want to project any of that. Like I had said, Atlantis, I feel, may have given their power away too much to the AIs, and that whole masculine energy dominance take over everywhere else type of feeling. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Thank you so much for just well, just really examining the possibilities, but mostly just for sharing your time with me, because we're all going to ripple and we're going to share this message. And it's not a message of, a specific thing, just the actual exploration of the possibilities of many, many different things. And in my mind, when I look at what I want to accomplish with even just this podcast, is there's many things happening in the world that I would truly love to go and experience and then share with you. For instance, visiting underneath the Sphinx in Egypt, or venturing to where the city of Avalon is perhaps vibrating in a different frequency, and perhaps even going to like underwater pyramids and things like that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out there for us to explore. And, I would love to even go with groups to those places and discover it together. So a lot of different possibility for exploration. One of the shows that I watched recently was the Pokemon Horizon. And basically this show's about a group of, we'll call them kids, who are going around their world, and they're going off on adventures. Now, they do have parents, but yet they are mature enough to go off into the world, and they're with their Pokemon pals. And, they're, of course, I guess in a sense there is the elements, and there is the danger and stuff like that of being out there, but the point is that they're out there, and that's where I feel many more millions of people could be, is out there, living out there, and not being in these cities condensed and such. And so there's a lot more adventure to be had, and I would love to share some of that with whomever's willing to get up and let's go and do it. So I look forward to sharing more of these videos with you, and like I said, in the future, and the sooner the better. Some sort of adventure, or I essentially started a program, series called Journeys, and that was the whole idea behind that, is to share the journeys, and I have yet to get it up and onto YouTube, like, well, actually not like on my republish, but I will. And there was one Journeys to Hope, BC, that I did, and I really, really, really enjoyed exploring and sharing what I had discovered. So that could definitely also be, as I said, part of what I talk about on this program and share. And I have so many other ideas as well, of just going around and interviewing interesting people, perhaps from the United News Network app community, and sharing with people so many different things. I have so many ideas. Anyways, I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for sharing this time for me and with me. And yeah, I love you. Have a night.